So as a follow-up, we've got the TV installed. Lights are all running. This is all off of battery juice. With that larger battery bank, I'm not having any problem leaving stuff turned on at all. Stereo's installed. I got rid of that piece of shit that I had in here before. A pile of crap. Anyway, this is a JVC $59.95 over at Best Buy. Works fine. What's really cool about this is it has the auxiliary jack at the front and at the rear. So what I did was I ran a cord from the rear up here to a spot here with this Velcro on the wall. So as long as I have Velcro in the back of like an iPod or MP3 player, I can play my music through the aux jack. Now if I have something else that's a little more unusual, I can plug it in the front. But that's just, I found this nice to keep this all flat, and if I had the thing plugged in here, it was sticking out and the person could bump into it walking by. So, and then with the 12-volt outlet here, I can recharge a phone off of the 12-volt or an iPod or iPhone right here. And so the Velcro is just so I can attach the stuff to the wall. And so if I'm just hanging out and I have Velcro in the back of my phone, I can stick the phone up there. It's in a central location. I could use a 12-volt charger there, although I have chargers for phones over here too. And so I detailed that in another video, but I'm going to clip these videos together for the update. The cabinet here, I use that super waterproof paint. One thing, when I mounted the TV, I found this thing wasn't quite as rigid as I wanted it to be, so I had to put a backer piece on the wood. But for traveling, there's a quick detach on the TV here, and I would end up like wrapping it in blankets, putting it on the bed for safety. The other thing I'm looking at possibly is putting like little D-rings up here with some bungees that would keep this, give it a little flexibility, but keep it from flopping around really hard. And like I said, I added these things. I had to get a special router bit for doing the inside of that, and then recut it to match this, which was a little goofy. So some future project will be just hanging out and kind of sanding on that, making it look a little nice. But I had to use an orange oil finish, no polyurethane on these, because these will act as countertop cutting boards. But again, RV and small home applications and stuff like that, where you want the advantage of having sink and countertop, you got to have these little sink filler places to get some countertop space back. This thing here, I'm gonna redo the countertop on that. It's just when I got the sheet of linoleum for this stuff, there was only enough to do this table, that, and then just not a shape the right size for that thing. And so the lights all work. I showed in the other video how the upgraded power system. I removed the grid tie inverter. I'm not going to use that. This TV only works when I have a certain part of the power system plugged in. So I'm probably probably going to remove this and put a different one up here, a little bit bigger one. But this was basically so that somebody in bed could watch TV. Although that one's on a swivel mount. If I'm doing like a little PowerPoint presentation with somebody or something on the internet, and I want more than just me sitting there and doing that, I can flip it to the side. Somebody can sit here in a chair, and you know, we can work on that or watch something. Although it's not as comfortable as sitting in your couch at home, it's decent, and I'll get some cabinets for this. Now, one thing, the weather's bad right now, so when this thing shakes, sometimes when it shakes, I lose signal off my antenna, but that's off-the-air television. So if you just want the TV on to keep you company, you can do that with off-the-air television in an RV application. And as far as a inverter not offering clean enough power to power like a LED TV with high resolution, seems to be working fine here. You know, that pure sine wave inverter, which some people told me, oh, it's Chinese, it's not going to be pure sine wave, seems to be working fine. I get a good clean image right here. Everything seems to be working fine. The TV's, the fridge has been left on. I relocated the sine wave inverter into here. I've yet to run a cable permanently between that and the trailer's original 110 volt system that would plug into the grid. So pretty much everything's running off a series of these little power boxes, because I wanted to run brand new stuff and be able to scale it up or scale it down just by plugging stuff in. Now, you don't want to run 20 amp power that way. But, you know, all these little electronic items combined is maybe 5 amps on a big day. If it goes up to 10, it's no big deal. The refrigerator runs off its own plug in there, and according to the inverter at any given time, because that's an LED TV, because all these little rechargers just don't use a lot of power, I'm only using about 200 watts at any given time right now. Now that bumps up to 400 when I'm running power to the system that runs that little hot water heater. There's another hot water heater down behind there, which I haven't messed with yet, but I'm going to rig up to run electric only probably. It's currently set up to run propane. So I've yet to use the stove. I've got empty space here, so I'm looking at mounting a large toaster oven in there, because it'll be ventilated out the back, so it's good for safety there. It's right next to the electricity. I'm not getting a lot of power loss between the inverter and the toaster oven. So I'm thinking, if it's large, it'll have some standoff between the walls and the door and the back. It's going to be just fine there, and I'd be able to do cooking all electrically. Probably end up replacing the microwave, but yeah. So that's our update. I got the flooring in. I got the stereo done. It's all really good now. TV's in, really good. Although it's just an interior amplified antenna, so in bad weather it loses signal a little bit. There, I lost it. But in good weather it seems to work fine. And if I go to the exterior antenna, I think I'm going to be fine. All this stuff is basically a docking station for a laptop. I've got a keyboard under here somewhere. Got to get a mouse for it, but that's no big deal. And so what happens is I can show up with a laptop and make this all work, but when I'm not here, it's actually TV only. And that way, from a security standpoint, no one's going to sneak in here and get a hard drive out of here and fuck with it, because there's no computer here. It's basically a full docking station, so that what I would have to carry around is minimal. And then when I show up and start using it, I get a full-fledged system. I might add some surround sound systems that go just to this system, but right now the stereo is pretty decent. Runs off the iPod. Really, I got a good outfit here called the Glitch Mob. But yeah, you know, decent music. You know, we got music. It's all solar powered. It's all off grid. Been running this stuff for a little while, and I'm still at 95%. It's kind of hard to read on that, but I'm at 95% power, so I'm not crying. I had some extra lights, so I installed the LED. I had some red LEDs, not doing anything else with, so I put them in there to give it a little funky club feel. Also, it's something that we used to do in armored vehicles was if you ran red lights inside, supposedly it helps save your night vision. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, you know, it's all decent here. This is, you know, I don't know. If I had to live here, I'd say, you know, if I got a 30-day notice where I'm at, I'd be able to, within a week, get this thing really livable. If I had to camp out in it, I'm not crying too loudly. Bathroom's still got to be done, but yeah. So that's the update. Basically, we're able to run full power with a lot of basic stuff. If I were to try to run an electric heater in here, I'd have a problem. But I can actually run an electric heater for a short period of time, which isn't bad. Although, generally speaking, you can run a stove in one of these things and warm it up. It's just that you can't really safely leave the stove going all night. So I got to still figure out something for heat. Obviously, this toolbox will eventually be going along elsewhere. But yeah, so this is basically, you know, a full electronic setup. Now, part of what I'll add here is a full suite of electronic monitoring equipment, radio equipment, scanners, probably both transmitters and receivers. I'm going to do another video on survival communication, but basically I produce enough power here to run a ham radio repeater and a FM radio transmitter. So running like you know, running a 20-watt community radio station out of this thing, easy to do. Okay, I produce enough power for that. It give me like a 2-mile transmit radius, which doesn't sound like much if you're commercially transmitting, but for regular stuff, that's not a problem. Anyway, I'll do more in a week or so.